Up next on The Bottom Line, the state ponies up $400 million for construction of the Purple Line as it prepares to embark on its first public-private partnership. In our FaceTime segment, we'll meet a Montgomery County resident who has been nationally recognized for protecting the pockets of citizens. And a group of Montgomery County nature lovers who wage war on invasive plants. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'm Susan Kennedy. It's been 4 years since Governor Martin O'Malley endorsed light rail for the Purple Line, and this week a major step was taken to bring that project closer to reality. The bottom line, the governor has announced plans to finance the project privately.
So we are here today at the future home of Maryland's Purple Line here in Bethesda, Maryland.
Surrounded by local leaders and supporters, the governor announced plans for a $400 million state investment towards the construction of the Purple Line. O'Malley told the crowd the state will seek out a private firm to build the $2.2 billion project, making this the state's first public-private partnership.
In order for a modern economy to create jobs and expand opportunity, we have to be willing to make modern investments. In total, the Transportation Act will invest $4.4 billion, supporting over 57,000 jobs over the next 6 years. Better choices in order to achieve better results.
This has been a collective effort, and it is just really, really wonderful to finally be here, not just announcing these amazing investments, but also really, truly announcing this groundbreaking P3, public-private partnership, solution to this issue, which is something that's being talked about on the national level. And lo and behold, Maryland once again leads the nation in making sure that we set the example moving forward.
With this announcement, the state has now committed close to $800 million for the light rail line, including $280 million budgeted earlier this year for final design work and purchase of the right-of-way. The public-private partnership would allow the state to share the cost of building the Purple Line with a private firm while paying them a fee to operate it.
Business wants to partner with government on building the large infrastructure projects that need to be funded. Without this infusion of the private sector money, we would not see the Purple Line. What the governor did here today puts Montgomery County and the state of Maryland in the forefront of what's happening in the nation, that these kinds of infrastructure projects have to be done in partnership with the people in the business community. So we couldn't be happier. I think this is an example of taxpayer money very well spent.
Councilmember George Leventhal has been a longtime supporter of the Purple Line. He says it's key to the economic future of the county and the state.
We're looking ahead to a bright future for our local economy, and I love to see the partnership between the two counties. Our future lies in regional cooperation, and that's what the Purple Line is all about, bringing us together as a region and making it easier for us to expand, to get higher education.
But not everyone at the event was celebrating. Much of the line would be built along the Capitol Crescent Trail, which has some community members up in arms.
I invite people who haven't done so to go and take a walk like I did, take a 2 or 4 mile hike and walk along the trail. And maybe if people did this, they'd see the difference.
Obviously, it's horrible to clear cut all the trees along the path, but I think it's also just a complete financial boondoggle that will never, it'll just never be viewed as a good idea in the long run.
Also at the press conference, O'Malley announced funding for even more transportation in Montgomery County, including $25 million to build the Brookville bypass and $100 million for the first phase of the Quarter Cities Transitway. Actual work on the Purple Line is scheduled to begin in 2015. After weeks of discussion and various amendments, the County Council has approved the Chevy Chase Lake sector plan, which clears the way for a mixed-use project south of the Beltway on Connecticut Avenue. But this approval did not come without plenty of debate. The small village of Chevy Chase will be getting a facelift of sorts in the near future. The newly approved sector plan will bring new housing, retail, and transportation.
We made a lot of adjustments in the plan in response to community concerns. You know, this is the classic issue for a place like Chevy Chase Lake is you're inside the Beltway, you're the victim of regional traffic, and how do we protect those people? There's not too much we can do. We identified some traffic solutions. We frankly didn't change too much in the plan. It is going to be the side of a Purple Line station. If that occurs, there may be a little bit more development permitted.
The Chevy Chase Lake plan covers a portion of Connecticut Avenue between Jones Bridge Road and East-West Highway. Phase 1 of the sector plan can move ahead at any time. It includes the Chevy Chase Lake Shopping Center, the Howard Hughes Medical Institute, and a Housing Opportunities Commission project on Chevy Chase Lake Drive that will provide affordable and workforce housing.
Both the Howard Hughes Medical Institute and the Chevy Chase Land Company have been waiting for a long time, knowing that with the Purple Line likely to occur, the ability to, in the case of Chevy Chase Land Company, attract investment and upgrade retail and shopping opportunities would be really great. And so Chevy Chase Land Company had approval for a much larger retail development than the one that's on the ground now, but they really wanted a mixed-use development that would include residential that would support the retail. And now they can proceed with that on the east side of Connecticut Avenue.
The County Council approved the sector plan by an 8-to-1 vote. Councilmember Mark Elrich casting that ballot. He says the plan is unresponsive to the concerns of the community and that it fails to address traffic issues that he believes will occur when redevelopment begins.
If you're not getting anything for the community and you are jamming up one of the busiest roads in the county that's used by tens of thousands of people who don't live there to try to get through to work in the morning, I think it's just a major, major mistake. And we have no way of paying for the infrastructure, which is going to be tens of millions of dollars, and the council appears to have no interest in requiring that the developer pay for the infrastructure. I see nothing good of this for the county, and I really meant what I said, I've never seen a council or a planning board vote for a plan that was opposed by every community. That doesn't happen, but it just happened.
However, the council did approve the plan with one major stipulation. Phase 2 of the work cannot go forward until construction of the Purple Line that will stop in Chevy Chase begins. These tough economic times have brought out the best in citizens who are willing to lend an extra hand for nothing in return. In the county's Office of Consumer Protection, one man is part of a squad of volunteers who fight for truth and justice. And what started out as a job to occupy his free time has earned him national recognition. David, talk a little bit about how you got involved in volunteering in the Consumer Protection Office.
Sure. About 3 years ago, I was looking for a new kind of volunteering to do. And I was looking for something that I could kind of dig my teeth into. I've got a legal degree. I practiced law for a very long time. And my wife did a little searching around for me, and she came across a posting for Montgomery County Office of Consumer Protection that said that we're looking for volunteers.
So during your time here, what's the most memorable case that you've had the opportunity to work on?
One of my early ones, a vendor sold a couple a digital thermostat for $1,400 that I found on the internet for about $125. The guy that sold him the thermostat was a heating and air conditioning repairman, and took advantage of these folks. So we were able to get a $1,000 refund for those people. So that was an early victory that made me feel really good. The most frustrating ones are those guys who are slippery like that.
Because of the workload here is so incredibly immense, and we get somebody like David Lester who's got the skills to negotiate cases that I can't do. I mean, he just basically takes them over, and then, you know, he can turn sort of like loser cases into winners. Does it? He just turned in a whole bunch earlier today.
I have one case where they came in the house, they found mold, and then they told this older gentleman that if he didn't let them take care of the mold, they would have to report him to Montgomery County. He didn't know what to do, so he gave them money.
And I'm sure you get a lot of thanks from those folks who you save that money.
Absolutely, because most of the people that come to us, not all of them, but most of them really can't afford to throw their money away.
So this is Money Magazine, and in light of all of your hard work and volunteer efforts, they are recognizing you as one of their money heroes. Tell me about how that makes you feel.
Well, it was pretty cool. It's in a fairly widely circulated magazine. It was quite a shock and a very nice surprise.
Now, can your wife take credit for this, since she was the one who kind of pushed you in this direction?
She found this opportunity for me. I'm not sure I would have found it without her. And one of my friends made a very interesting point. He said, you know, hopefully there's 50 people around the country that read this and said, hey, maybe I'll volunteer and try and help people. And that would be very, very cool if it caused other people to jump in there and volunteer.
Our congratulations to David again for this fantastic recognition. If you've ever noticed those pesky vines climbing up trees or weeds growing up over plants throughout county parks, you're not alone. There's a group of Montgomery County nature lovers whose goal it is to wage war on those non-native invasive plants, and they've clocked tens of thousands of hours cleaning up county parkland.
I'm very happy that you all are here today. My name's Carol Bergman. I'm the forest ecologist, botanist for the park system here. In 1999, I had been working for the parks for about 5 years and realized we had a problem with invasive species. We needed some staff, we needed some money, and it's very hard to get these things to happen. So I thought, why don't we create a volunteer program? Over this time period, since 1999, we have had over 53,800 volunteer hours over that time period, which means 27 work years. One of the major vines you find here in the Washington, D.C. area is porcelainberry, and another one is oriental bittersweet. This is actually a bittersweet vine, okay? Bittersweet, which starts from a tiny orange seed about the size of my fingernail, smaller than the size of my fingernail. And so you can imagine that this strangles trees. This is it. Does this look anything like that log that I showed you that strangled things? They block out the light. All plants need water, space, and sunlight, and these plants quickly grow and overtake our native habitats. Most of these invasive plants were brought here. Many, many, many of them are here because they're nice landscape plants. You don't need to worry. You don't need to plant them again next year. In fact, they leave your yard and go into your neighbor's. We understand all of that, but we are trying to teach why wildlife areas, conservation areas, would not want to plant a plant that's going to just go crazy. Okay, so what should we do with barberry? Number one, don't plant it. You know, if you plant an oak, a white oak acorn, it takes 25 years before that plant makes its own acorns. 25 years. And if you can save that tree by cutting the vines that are strangling off of it, even if it's a small tree, you've really done a good thing.
Well, that's all we have time for in this edition of The Bottom Line, but we leave you with this Montgomery moment, some sights and sounds from the C&O Canal, and an incredible nature shot of a hungry heron.